Yeah, welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Like I said, we have the Greater Accra Region Minister here in the studio. Well, for some time now, he's been embarking on the Make Accra Great agenda. How well do you understand this agenda? Because for this agenda to thrive and to be successful, you need the public to buy in. So how do we get involved in this and how do we make it successful? What is the strategy? And what are your thoughts? What are your suggestions on the way forward and how we can make it successful? Well, I have the minister here in studio. We'll have this conversation, but this is your show, so we want to hear from you. We want you to talk to your minister. Henry Quartey is the Honorable Minister for the region. He's here. Mr. Quartey, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
How is it going?
Well, one day at a time.
One day at a time?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good.
Under the unction of the Almighty God.
Okay, so if you were to assess the progress made so far on the agenda, the Make Accra Great agenda, what would you say?
Well, first of all, I think that I have been trying to get this thing corrected, and forgive me,
okay. It's fine.
Crave your indulgence to do so. It is let's make Accra work. It's a tagline.
Okay.
So we cannot change it to say make Accra work.
Yes.
So I think they should change it on the system for
we'll,
viewers.
We'll fix that. Let's make Accra
let's
work.
Let's make Accra work.
Okay.
That's a tagline.
Okay.
Right.
What's your assessment of how it's gone so far?
Well, I think you should be the better judge.
From your perspective?
Yes, because I wouldn't know exactly how I'm doing. You should be able to tell me. And of course, your cherished listeners and viewers will be the best judges to tell, not me, because I'm the humble servant of the president for the region, and I work with a team. That's the Regional Coordinating Council.
We will bring our viewers in and ask them, we've put the number out there for them to assess you. But for every project, any person behind every project has their goals and they have their objectives, and they are able to access at every point in time whether they are at a place where they like or where they think there's much more work to be done. So from your perspective, what is it? Well,
if that's a line of question, then I'll say that we haven't gotten there at all. Okay. The train has just taken off. And usually it's like traveling on a long journey. The car warms up first. So this is just a warming. It's like you go to a restaurant and then they bring you the menu chart. And then they serve you the starter, the golden fried shrimps and all that. Then you go to the main course. It
certainly seems like a daunting task, given the problems that we all know we have here in the city. But walk us through the strategy. What is the strategy?
Well, if you recall, a few years ago, Mr. President made a clarion call by saying that he wants Accra to be the cleanest city by the time he finishes his term of office. And I'm challenged and indeed motivated by that speech to walk the president's talk. So all we are doing is to ensure that by the grace of God, we bring the necessary changes that will ensure that by 2024, God willing, Accra will be counted amongst one of the cleanest cities, if not in West Africa or for that matter, Africa. So we are able to ensure that the President has realized his vision of making Accra clean.
You talk about making the necessary changes. That's where I believe a lot of Ghanaians are interested in. What are these changes that you want to make? You want to, bring that will make Accra work? Do we know the specifics we're looking at here?
Well, changes can be interpreted in different ways. Attitudinal, behavioral, they are all part of it. Now, I heard you asking a question earlier on before I came on set. If you look back from independence, where has Accra been? How far have we come? Where are we today? And where do we intend to go? As people who live in a cosmopolitan region, are we satisfied with the way Accra is looking like in terms of discipline, in terms of sanitation, in terms of even our educational system, in terms of how we are managing our health system and all that? That is not to say that government has not on its own done what it has to do. But I think that as persons living in this region, we have a responsibility to also play our parts. Indeed, I keep making these references that the same Ghanaian buys a ticket and he says he's going on a holiday Where does he go to? Dubai. He arrives in Dubai and he starts taking the selfies. Escalators, beautiful city, very clean, span clean. And he spends 2 weeks there. Whilst there, okay, he respects or obeys all the rules there. He or she doesn't drop a litter where he or she shouldn't do so. He doesn't pass urine anyhow. He doesn't park his car anyhow. He fixes his seat belts. 2 weeks, he complies with all the regulations. Then he arrives in Ghana on the 15th day, right from the airport. He throws the rubbish away. And he still thinks that the government has to fix it. That is where the challenge is. So we are getting to a point where I think that all of us, as persons living in this region, must make a conscious effort in coming along with the agenda of making Accra, Greater Accra work.
So my understanding from what you said is that the major challenge you're facing in executing the strategy is attitude now.
It's not a challenge.
It's not a challenge?
No. See, when you begin to see challenges before you embark on a journey, you never get to your final destination. No. It's rather a determination for me, backed by the Regional Coordinating Council and also your good self as a media, collaborating with the efforts in ensuring that we have this decongestion and attitudinal behavioral changes to get to the final destination. But I don't see challenges to be in my way to begin this exercise. If I do so, then I'll be complaining, and I don't want to complain.
But I mean, there are challenges, there are genuine challenges. I mean, you do your SWOT analysis, everybody is looking out for what is the problem to, you know, the hurdles to sort of deal with to get to the objectives.
So you see, you just hit the nail right on the head. The challenges are there. They've been in existence for a long period, okay? And so that is why there is that drive, there is that determination, there is that motivation to try and get it right, fix the wrongs. So I don't want to go and stand at Mokola, for instance, or sit here and say, oh, there's too much rubbish by the roadside. No, I want to tell you that we are putting in efforts to try and make the place clean. So we are making progress. Okay.
So the strategy, which was the question that I asked, is to remove debt, to make the place clean, to change the attitude.
As much as possible, make the Greater Accra region.
I just want it to be clear for people.
It is very clear. Yeah. It is very clear.
But it's not clear to me as yet.
Very well.
So help me.
Okay.
I believe that if I'm speaking on behalf of the people.
Very
I
well.
don't understand, probably they don't. So
okay.
let's help them.
Right.
And help each other here. So my understanding of what the strategy is to deal with the attitudinal problem of people. The way people behave. Okay. And then the next one is to rid the city of filth.
Absolutely.
That's part of it. So rid the city of filth.
Which includes indiscipline. And that is the captain of all the issues in Greater Accra.
Okay.
It's like the chairman of the problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this the strategy for let's make Accra work?
Well, it is.
That is the strategy.
That's the agenda, actually.
Okay.
You see, once you tackle indiscipline, it has a lot of roots or branches, I may say. And so we want to look at indiscipline in general in the region. I.e., somebody goes to Accra and thinks that, okay, he or she wants to sell. So they erect an authorized structure on the land and thinks that, no, you can't do that elsewhere. So why are you doing that here?
Right.
Right. Okay. So you see, that's why I'm saying that it's not the challenges, it's the problems that we have to fix. Mr. President gives a directive. It says nobody should use sirens, and somebody is using siren. Why is the person using it?
Indiscipline.
Yes.
Okay. So what is the plan to deal with this? We know what you've started doing already. Run us through the plan so that it is clear once again in the mind of people, so you can bring them on board.
So the plan is, I've sat here in this same room, this same studio, perhaps on a different platform, and I've said clearly, and I've also indicated to the other media platforms that we are working on what I call the Accra Bible. Okay. You don't want a situation where a certain Henry Quartey comes to do something for 3 months or 1 year or whatever, and then next time he will be remembered like we remember the Salifu Amankwas and the Dre Blanksons and the Okovanda boys. You want a document that we can work with. And as we go along, we've put people together who are taking their time to write this document for us, which we call the Accra Bible. We will also be mindful of the laws governing this country and, of course, the Local Government Act. So there is no contradiction, if you like. So that will guide us on the issue of sanitation. For instance, I mean, today I've just come from the Independence Square, where I joined His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief and the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to commission a first batch of 500 vehicles that Zoom Lion is bringing into the country, and they are mainly compactors. Now, hitherto, if I may digress a bit, I mean, it falls in. Hitherto, you'll find that 3, 4, or more assemblies, for that matter, are allocated with one compactor. So, for instance, Yawaso Central Assembly will have all manner of refuse by the roadside, and that compactor is somewhere in Soweto, trying to clear the place. I've been able to lobby the boss of Zoom Lion. So hopefully from next week, each assembly is going to get minimum of one compactor on its own. So places like Ayawaso West Wogon, large area, we'll try and give them about 3 compactors. And the MMDCs will have no cause to now tell the RCC that they are not unable to lift the rubbish. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And once they do that, we are looking at also getting the assemblies to pass the bylaws. Don't forget, I keep saying this, that Henry Quartey has not got the power. I don't have the locus to enforce the laws, but a collaboration with the assemblies, because the assemblies have been clothed with the powers to enforce the laws. Okay? So we will get them to pass the bylaws to ensure what we call the Operation Clean Your Frontage. So that Joy News or Multimedia will be responsible for their frontage. And so if we come with our task force and then your gutters are choked, we fine you. So very soon that will be launched across the country, across the region. Once we do that, assemblies will do the principal streets, clear the gutters, but then each household, each business, each company, individual is responsible for their immediate environment. And I think that is only fair for us to do that. That will be the beginning of sending the awareness to people that, so if you sit and watch unconcerned for somebody to drop refuse in your gutter, well, the assembly will come and you pay the fine. Very soon, it's part of the discipline. So I don't want to look at sanitation alone. You know that motorbikes has been a menace in this part of the region. The Regional Security Council, of which I'm a chairman, have met and we've put a committee together, and the committee is looking at the modalities very soon. Once we are able to get the big house to actually look into it, we will announce for the motor riders just to abide by all the traffic regulations in this region. And I keep restricting myself to the region because I'm only a servant of Greater Accra. I'm not the local government minister. So we're saying that you ride a motorbike. First point of call, you should have your helmet on. Second point of call, in fact, rather the other way around, your motorbike must be properly registered. It must be properly insured. And then the fact that you ride a motorbike does not give you the right to go through a red light. No. You have to abide by all the traffic regulations as a motorbike rider.
And how are we going to ensure that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The modalities will come out. I'm just giving you the heads up.
It will be in the Bible.
No, this is going to come out in about 2-3 weeks. No, the Bible will be launching it around August. Okay. And with the Bible, we intend to give all the media houses a copy. Okay. So when you invite me here, you just open chapter 1 and see, okay, on the issue of security, this is what you should be doing. Okay. How far have you gone? I want us to do that.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I said in the beginning that we are doing the status.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The golden fried streams and all that. That's what we're doing now.
So then
we go to the main course.
Okay, so the motor riders and the plan you have to make them comply with traffic regulations and other regulations. You said that program is going to
maximum 3 weeks here. Maximum 3 weeks.
What is that program called? Is it a special program under the Let's Make Accra Work agenda?
Most of these things are already, they have laws already, and so we just want to enforce them. And then it's going to come under the Let's Make Accra Work agenda. And so you have the road safety, the MTT, the Department of the Ghana Police Service all coming on board to ensure the enforcement.
I'm asking this because these interventions are not necessarily new. These are things that we know we should do. These are things that, you know, sometimes we will do and then we give up at a point. So I want to find out what really is new in this particular agenda, the way we want to implement it.
That is why I said that there are the laws already, and so we are going to ensure the strict enforcement of these laws. And indeed it's new, because I'm sure that today when you're driving and you see a motor parked by you, obeying the traffic regulations, you say, okay, this is something new. Although in your mind you know that the laws are there. Okay. I've heard people commend the exercise because they are able to commute from places like Fafraha, Dodoa, you know, going through Medina Zongo Junction, and they think that, travel time is reduced. Well, they always travel on that road, don't they? But this time around, it's new to them because they spend less hours or minutes in traveling, so It's still new. Okay,
I have some questions here that people have sent through, and I'll read them to you. Some thoughts that people are sharing, I'll read them to you, Mr. Minister. But I want you to take a look at this conversation. We had this conversation on Friday. We asked people to have, share their thoughts on us or what they want to see in their city. And we had the perspective from Rwanda, which is said to be one of the cleanest countries in our region. We wanted to find out how they have done it, and then I'll take your thoughts on this. So this is Andrew Gatera. Andrew is a travel and tour guy. He shared how they manage, their situation in Rwanda. Take a look.
Rwanda is doing a couple of things, and as you realized, we have two major steps that we have taken. One step is we set up a cleaning day, and every month everyone goes to the street or the neighborhood to make sure our environment, our neighborhood is clean. This is mandatory, and this is monitored by the community leaders. So this has been effective, and it's kind of, I cannot say it is voluntary, but it's part of the requirement of the citizens. So even the president, the ministers, everyone in the country does that. And when the cleaning day comes along during that whole month, everyone knows I have to go and clean my neighborhood with my neighbors. So that has been very effective. Step two, we have this cleaning fee that every person, every household, or every office, or every business has to pay on a monthly basis. So it's a kind of, you can call it a tax, but it's not really that kind of taxes you pay over the goods sold, but it's a mandatory fee you have to pay as a cleaning fee for people who collect garbage. And this money goes to the local government that handle this kind of ensuring the city is clean.
Andrew Gatera there, and those pictures are the videos that I took when I visited Rwanda recently. So Mr. Minister, he talks about the mandatory cleaning that they've instituted, which is monitored. They pick local leaders or opinion leaders who supervise these cleanings because they feel they are more closer to the people. And then the cleaning day, each month they have a cleaning day where something that we started, I think, during the
Julius Debrest
exactly,
time,
which
the
we
former regional minister, now then former chief of staff.
Yes, which we seem to have given up on. And then they have the sanitation, what he's calling cleaning fee, which will say the sanitation levy. I want to take your thoughts on that and how perhaps that can...
How I wish this interview that you had with him was live. So
it was live. Now.
So I could ask him some questions. You see, it's like going to the restaurant and then you serve the meal on the table, but you want to find out what the chef did in the kitchen. Because when they started this exercise, it was serious. Soldiers were beating people and all that. And you are the media. I mean, Medina Zongo Junction, we asked people to wave at people, and then we saw human rights activists coming to say, hey, you are infringing on their rights. So today, we are comparing Rwanda to Ghana. But the question is that, have you been able to dig deep to know how the exercise started? If only the media can support us in Greater Accra to go that same way, then we are in good shape. If only the media would not go to a place like Agbogbloshie or behind Beyeman, where scrap dealers have occupied the place for 10 years, and they are contributing to hazardous e-waste, which positions Ghana as #1 in West Africa. If only the media will not go there after we have done the exercise to go and say, oh, so now, I think it was Joy. What, thousands of people displaced. There you go.
Are you saying that when people are displaced, the media shouldn't report?
But have they been displaced? Because Rwanda, you compare Rwanda, you interviewed somebody, and I'm saying that, do we know how they started? I'm not saying we shouldn't, but then the question is, were they doing the right thing? No, they were not. You go there, and they have taken over a place, and because of that, we have flooding. Because of that, it contributed immensely to the flooding on June 3rd disaster. Nobody wants to remember June 3rd disaster because it is not the best, and we don't want to experience it anymore. But I can tell you, look, when you, from here, Odo and all that, we have a wide storm drain and all that. Go to Agbogbloshie as we speak. They have filled the Quartey Lagoon with sawdust. And they've built, kiosks and all that on it. So the water returns. And when it returns, the first place it hits is the Beyeman area, lit up, and then it comes to the Odo, and then it's flooding around Circle. So today, when we go clearing them, rather we expect the media to say, you were not doing the right thing. These were the reasons why we had a June 3rd, so we can make progress. So maybe in your future reportage, you should point out to the people that Henry Quartey or the RCC is not being insensitive to them, but rather, we want to make Accra work.
We want to make Accra work. Yes. Let me just read to you some of the messages I'm getting, and probably end this with what's happening at Abosokai and how we can do it to make Accra work. This message says is from Seto Goso and Ahafo region. Says, make Accra work again is very brilliant initiative, but as to whether Honorable Quartey's own political party will allow him to exhibit his skills. Okay, so I don't know if that's a question. But that's what this person says. I'll just take like 3 more and then probably take your thoughts on it. This one says, a high unemployment. Okay, he's talking about something different. So let me move on. Says that the major way to make Accra work is to ensure that the law governing sanitation works, especially the traders. The traders pay tax every day, but at the end of the day, no one is there to clean the market. So 2 things she's saying here is to make the law governing sanitation work, especially among the traders, and to also make sure that the taxes collected from the traders are put to work. I like your smile, Mr. Minister. I'll take your thoughts on it. Let me just add 1 more to it, and then I'll take the next batch of 3. This one says the best way to develop Accra is to decentralize various ministries' main offices to various regions in the country. This will help in the reduction of congestion in Accra and enhance the development of the country as a whole. Joseph Oku said that from Ho. So 3 messages. Let me take your thoughts and then I move to the next 3.
Well, first of all, decentralizing Accra, being the capital city, has its own financial implications and has to go through a lot of processes. But in the meantime, I keep asking the questions, the rhetorical ones. So the fact that you pay tax will warrant you to go and pour rubbish into the storm drain because you are paying tax. It's not right. When you go to developed countries, they pay taxes all right. That is why you see the 99.99. But then, they don't just dump refuse anyhow. So I think that we should be also, with the greatest of respect, help the environment in which we live in. Because I keep saying it's a cosmopolitan region. We all school here, we do business here, we work here, we do everything here. And in the end, most of us will retire living here. So we have a responsibility as Ghanaians, as people living in this region, to ensure that we do the right thing. And getting the right thing done is where the problems. Look at the picture in front of you. Deliberately, people have dumped refuse into a gutter. You go there, you want to clean, and they say, why have you come? Because they have structures there, unauthorized structures. And these are the things that, by the grace of God, we will move. For instance, you have people who are dealing in onions. I don't know if you've been following the story. I have. Yes, Agbogbloshie area. Now, again, you can show viewers what, during President Kufuor's time, was done for them. That was about 16, 17 years ago. Government under President Kufuor's time, acquired acres of land for them at Ajen Kotoku, and even went ahead to use the taxpayers' money to build a very beautiful area for them. Over 15 years, they have not moved an inch because they say the place is far. Today, we want to get them to go there, and what are they saying? They will not move. And we are saying, and I'm sure they'll be listening, that by the 1st July, God give us life and strength, we will move them.
The regional minister, this person says, the regional minister is doing very well, so everybody should support him, especially the media. You don't add your name, but the number seems like a number from the UK. Thank you for sending your message. Thomas from Nalerugu says, Parliament should be allowed to create state institutions that are solely responsible and independent for strategic, okay, you're talking about national security story, strategic economic development planning, etc. All right, thank you for your message. Good afternoon. This one says, please tell the minister not to leave any stone unturned. Accra belongs.
I like that spirit. I like that spirit. Man. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It says Accra belongs. Okay, you mean Accra is in his hands now? He says Accra.
No,
so this is what he says. Let me read to you. He says Accra belongs to him, and he is a Ga, and must make sure posterity will be proud about him, and we Gans are proud of him. Eric Latte Lakai Kokrobite. Send that from Accra here.
Accra is in the hands of God, and we are all in it.
Okay. Thomas, thank you for your message. Okay, Lakaya, thank you for your message. This one says, Doris from Gambia. He says, really enjoying the program. Here in Gambia, we don't use plastics. The government banned plastic and the country has been cleaner than ever. That's one strategy that Rwanda uses as well. Do you want to comment on that as far as what Ghana can do? Accra, let's say.
I think it's a wonderful idea because I've been to Yaya Jammeh's place, I think Niger or so. I went for a conference there and strictly there are no plastics. They do just this bottled water. Gradually, we should be able to get, that's policy matter. And I'm sure that the local government minister at some stage may want to attempt.
Do you think you can start something in Accra?
Well, I'm not able to do that. Let's not get this thing wrong.
With the bylaws again?
No, you see, these are policy issues, and we don't run the governor type of appointments in Ghana. I'm just a regional minister. Right. If I'm a governor, then I take decisions and I'm responsible for it. But this is a policy that has to go to a sector ministry. I don't have the locals to do that.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how that works as well. This one says, Gifty, Simon, my question for the regional minister is for how long is Accra going to be the cleanest city in Africa, as the president indicates? I'm not sure, are you asking how long that it will take for that to happen, or are you saying when it happens, how long it will stay clean? I'm not quite sure. He says the minister is doing a great job and he should rather replace the president.
Hey, please, delete that one immediately, I beg you. Hey, Ade, I want me to lose my job. I beg, please.
Okay. Okay, so let's say this one says, so Simon, thank you for your message. The minister said delete that part of it. He doesn't want to lose his job. This one doesn't add a name, but says good policies, but leadership is killing the country. We always want to implement policies, but enforcement of the policies, no one wants to pursue that.
That's what we are enforcing now. We're doing the enforcement rate.
Okay.
Yeah, the laws are there, but it needs enforcement, and we're doing it.
So it looks like you're getting a lot of commendation from our viewers.
Well, you are telling me.
From Sule Sunyai says, let's make Accra work. In fact, the minister is doing well, but we need attitudinal change before we will get there. God bless our visionary. Okay, we know where this message is. God bless our visionary president, Nanado.
Here we go.
Thank you for sending your message. That's the good one. Thank you for sending your message as well. This man is the, okay, well, what do you have any suggestions about how to get this done anyway? So it says, this man is the best minister so far in the Nanado second term administration. There's going to be obstacles from within and outside his party, but the important thing for him is to remain resolute and stay focused and to know that the citizenry is well behind him in this endeavor. I wish him well. So far, I would say so good. From Muntaka in Boku. Muntaka, thank you very much for sending in that message as well. So I just want to take your thoughts about, I mean, we're getting some commendations, etc. And people are saying, do what you have to do. But doing what you have to do also requires getting the people to buy in. What is your plan to sort of balance the intervention, so that in the same way where you have to use force, you use force, but in the same way where you have to actually get the people on board to understand why this is necessary. I mean, I'm sure that has come to you strongly in this since you started this project. Because
you've been following the program, I decided not to bore listeners by going back. But so far, right from the assumption of office, what we did, the RCC, with my very hard-working team, led by the indefatigable regional coordinating director, was to engage almost all stakeholders. But I started by engaging the members of parliament on both sides of the political divide, minority, majority. I had their blessing. I moved on to meet with former regional ministers, former mayor. You can go on and on and on. So, and what we've been doing so far is we don't just move in and then start demolishing. No, we engage. You know, Medina Zongo Junction, the MCE engaged them over a period. The scrap dealers, we give them time. For instance, onion dealers, we've been engaging them for almost a month and a half. And when that fails, you can be sure.
Are we there yet? Would you say it has failed? The talks have failed?
Well, they have so far, they are exhibiting bad faith, because we had a meeting and they agreed to the terms and everything, even promised, address the media, that they were going to go on or before the 1st July. And they are playing tricks around. So you see, they've been given the opportunity. The alternative arrangements has been made for them. So I don't think that anybody will falter RCC if we go in on 1st July to remove them. Okay. So, you know.
You've said on other platforms that President Akufo-Addo has your back. What makes you believe that?
Which platform was that? Can you quote it?
I can't quote it at the moment, but we know that.
Oh, you know?
Yes. We've heard you say that.
Where did I say this?
Does the president have your back?
Well, we are appointees of Mr. President, and we walk his talk. Mr. President says he wants to make Accra the cleanest city by the time he finishes his term of office. And that is what Henry Quartey with the RCC is doing. We are going to make sure we walk the president's talk, and by the grace of God, with the collective ideas and support of all, including the media, your good self, come 2025 January, I'm sure you sit here and say, Accra is clean. Mr. President, thank you.
What would you say to people within your party, for example, who will raise concerns about the political capital or the political fortunes that you may lose as a result of, you know, stamping your foot on the ground and getting some of these things done?
I don't think we have gotten there yet. This is a clarion call, and we don't want to mix it up with political gains. We want the environment. We want to have an enabling environment, a peaceful environment, an environment that is clean, that we can go about our duties, make work, businesses should thrive, economy should work, and that kind of thing. And I'm sure that if we all put our eggs in one basket and say, look, let's get to this, by the end of this year, certainly we'll begin to see much improvement. 2022, we can sustain it by making sure that we don't go back to it. And then by 2023, I don't think anybody is going to say, well, you will lose election to Menya. So this is a time. And by the grace of God, as you said, no party member has complained. Nobody. There was a passing statement which was misrepresented, and that was corrected. And since then, we are making progress. So I think we should make progress.
We should make progress. No party member has complained. Sounds good. Some more messages before we wrap up. Please tell the minister that if he means well, then we are with him in prayer. Mohammed is sending this message from Tamale. As a visitor, says, hello to Joy. As I visit Ghana frequently, this is a number from the US. It doesn't add a name. Says, I visit Ghana frequently. Zoom Lion seems to be a total waste in Bono region. Is there a way for more attention paid to Brekum, Sunyai, and environs as to clean up? Thank you. This is, the Greater Accra Region Minister. So he says, as a visitor in 2019, you had to call Zoom Lion in Brekum to come and empty a garbage container that was overflowing right next to a church. Okay, thank you for your message and for taking the time. This one says, good afternoon. If you embark on this initiative by leaving environmental health officers who are technocrats behind as they started apportioning their jobs to different entities, it won't work for the government. I'm not sure what you're saying, but it looks as if the person is raising concerns about environmental health officers not being allowed to do their job? Is this a concern that has come to you?
No. You remember when I did say that we do recognize and acknowledge the existing laws. Now, once again, I did say that I don't have the locals, I don't have the power. RCC hasn't got the powers to go into an area and start doing this. The assemblies have been clothed with the powers, and each assembly has got a total representation of sectors like from education, all of them. They have got district directors for education, health, so the assemblies are a whole body on its own. And what we are saying is that all these exercises are being led by the assemblies. We collaborate with them. So definitely and certainly all the technocrats will be able to work. But we are saying that with the greatest of respect, we don't want to have technocrats sit in their offices and do capacity building. No, that time is past. You go onto the field, you make sure the work is done. And that's we will chase you. If you don't do it, we'll come after you. Oh, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Please ask the minister, what is he doing at Kaneshie and La Paz, where trotros have taken majority of the road? Again, the laws must work without fear or favor. Kaneshie and La Paz.
Well, the decongestion exercises, as I said, that's why I keep saying there's a starter. We did the Zongo Junction, and it's a pilot program. We've seen how it's working. Very soon we'll have some workshop with the assemblies and the presiding members, municipal coordinating directors, and then the bylaws will be spelled out. I'm sure you'll be there in the media. Once we finish that, we are going to hit the ground running. And the likes of Malam Junction to Kaneshie, Tema Runabout, going to Afienya, and going to Aplawo, all the other places you can talk about. The assemblies are supposed to go there and ensure there is free flow of traffic and vehicular movement, blah, blah, blah. La Paz is going to be one of them. The MCE for that era started a good work about a year and a half ago, and everybody was complaining, human right here and there, and we are still comparing ourselves to Rwanda. So we are going to get there, but I pray that when we get there, whether you send your cameras there and tell them, stop what you are doing, you're doing the wrong thing.
All right, so
yes.
I've had another message talking about the environmental health officers, but this one is also saying that it should have been make Ghana work again. Well, this is the sector minister. He's focusing on his sector.
I am in Greater Accra. I don't have the powers to do Ghana. I'm only doing Accra.
It appears, it says, my question to the minister, it appears that the cost of beautifying the environment by government is very high. And so where the government is limited financially, everything stops. What binding effort is his outfit putting on the citizenry to make sure everyone keeps their perimeter a beauty to behold? I don't know if you understand this question. He says, for example, a shop owner by a tarred road with a gutter keeps his perimeter clean, but when it rains, the sand is washed to fill the gutter. What is the plan to cover the land?
Well, maybe talking about covering open gutters and all that. But you see, when we make these suggestions, they're very laudable indeed. But then the question is, are we disciplining ourselves so much that when the gutters are covered, nobody is going to take a side and then push milk things and all that? And that is where the issue is. So we are saying that let us change our attitude, let us change our behavior, and couple it up with the assemblies or the law enforcement agencies to do their bits. Okay. That is why I say, I need you, you need me.
So I'll end with this question, and then I want you to speak briefly to Abosokan before you leave. He says, please, the Honorable Minister is doing a good job, but kindly inform him that he should try and provide basic PPEs like hand gloves and helmets for his people to prevent them from injuries. Nicholas, sending that message from Takrady.
Perfect. It's in order.
It's in order. Okay. Perfect. So, Nicholas, the minister is grateful for that. I'm sure the workers on the ground are also grateful. Abosokan, there's an issue where the leadership is seem to be saying one thing, and the people sometimes that you talk to also say another. What is really the plan to take them to Afienya? How feasible is that?
It is very feasible. We, as part of the stakeholder consultations, we met with Abosokan and Dakuma and Konkompe and all that. Dakuma and Konkompe revealed to us that indeed, again, during President Kufuor's time, quite a number of acres were acquired for them, and some has been encroached upon. But they are ready to voluntarily move from Dakuma. Today, when you go there, the vehicles that parks by the flanks are no more there. It's been decongested. And so efforts are in place for them to go to the area that originally was acquired for them. Then came Abosokan and the leadership themselves. It wasn't coming from us as an RCC, no. The leadership made very solid points. Today, we are aware that they have 5,000 stalls and about 7,000 tabletop businesses there. So you're looking at about 12,000 businesses there, and looking at people who are doing, I'm sure they call affairs or something. So Abosoka alone, houses close to about 40,000 people commuting in and out there. Now they are saying that although they are shop owners, they don't even have places of convenience, and they don't have all manner of things. And they think that they have outlived the purposes of working there. So they made this suggestion to Mr. President when he was then campaigning prior to the elections, that they want to be relocated. And as I said, we walk the president's talk. President promised them that, hey, if we win, by the grace of God, we'll do that. So just walking president's talk. We went there. They spoke to us and we said, okay, it will be good in this day, 21st century, to have a whole automobile hub. And those who go to Dubai is there. You go there and everything one-stop shop. So we want to move them to Afienya, where government is working very hard to release large acreage of land. I mean, we're talking close to about 600-700 acres, where we'll build a whole village for them. Now, once we are able to do it, it's a whole plan. Once we are able to do that, then we'll have a bylaw to kick in, where people will not be allowed to sell their vehicles anywhere in Accra anymore. So if you come and park your car here and say for sale, we'll come and tow it. If you want to sell your car, you take it there, because we allocate a place for people to sell their vehicles, motorbikes. So that is how we can now check the discipline in Accra. It will be in the Bible, you say it. So once we do that, you're not going to have cars being sold around and being paid traffic. No.
So how are you dealing with the pushbacks that are coming? No,
the issue is that there's a miscommunication. You know, as part of the decongestion exercise, they readily said we needed to decongest that street for them. In ages, I mean, I don't know whether you've driven there before. It's not possible. So they misconstrued decongesting the street to relocate them. And relocating Abosoka cannot just be done like this. No. We have to get them the land. They have to initiate the process, go through documentation. That can take about a year.
So this is purely miscommunication.
Oh, indeed. But then
they are dealing with it.
Their leaders have made their position that they want to be relocated. And that's a fact. They want to be relocated. And government will do so, help them to be relocated. And that we are doing.
Okay. We've run out of time. It's been an interesting conversation. I still have a lot of messages coming in, a lot of comments.
Good ones?
Actually good ones.
Let's hear them then. You know,
but we don't have time. Unless I can bring an invoice later.
Invoice?
And then we extend the time.
Well, never mind. You bring the invoice, we'll look at it, but we'll come in front of your house and see how we can balance it. You know, we'll find a few there and then
you find a few there, then you
that's it.
Okay, but yes, I do have a lot of messages. The messages I'm getting in indicates that people are happy to see leaders who are working to fix our problems, and they're calling out, you know, fellow Ghanaians and saying that let's do the right thing.
Let them join in the exercise, collaboration.
Right. So you join in the exercise, but also not be a hypocrite and send messages and say do this when you yourself are keeping your environment.
Thank you very much.
Right. So we'll wrap it up here. Mr. Minister, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Coming into the studio. But along the line, when the issues come up, we'll have more conversations about it and see how we can fix it and make Accra work together.
Remember to inform the public as well. That's your duty. Inform them.
We do.
Balance the reportage. It's not always the front page story.
That's our trademark.
Absolutely.
We do it so perfectly.
Wonderful.
Here at Joy News. I've been having a conversation with Minister for the region, the Greater Accra Region Minister, Henry Quartey. You're watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Dopia. Well, the siren abuse, well, it's something that we wanted to talk about. I think the minister touched on it, but you gave them a timeline.
Yes.
You gave them a timeline.
Yes.
How are you going to implement that? People have asked and said...
Well, we will do that. You see, usually I don't like to do too much of the talking. The action speaks for itself. So when that deadline is over, you'll see in Accra.
I'm just trying to have a mental picture where I see people rush through, or I live on the Spintex.
Don't worry about that, madam.
How do you stop
we will deal with it.
You will deal with it. We'll see how it goes. Right. That was something that I forgot, and I wanted to quickly chip that in. So thank you for indulging me on that. We want to take a very quick break. When we return, we'll take you to the Supreme Court. Well, Fix the Country seems to have had a win there. We'll talk you through it. But thank you so much for being a part of this particular conversation. Let's make Accra work together for all of us. We'll be right back.